So I hope my screen is visible. So let's move to the exercise. So here our first question is, uh, this is our text which is shared with you. And pardon? Hello. So what I said, find number of digits contain the above string. So what I need to, my answer should be, I need to fetch 25 and 10. Or you have to say, I said find a number of digit contains. So it is 2, 4. There is a totally 4 digits are there. So what I said, you have to use any kind of attribute which is available on string. That's it. Okay. So what he did was right, and what he did, he did split, and he made a string into a list, and what he doing some iteration. Okay, and he check whether it is a string or not. Okay, and check yes it is, and then happening, so it's right. Obviously it's right. But what happened, if your text is a combination of alphanumeric, then it will be, it won't give you an error, it won't give you a result. So we'll move on to that screen. Sorry, understood what is actually written?
Yes, bro.
Yeah.
It will return number of digits in string.
இது நீங்க பண்ணது, ஸோ நீங்க ஆன்சர் பண்ணீங்க, மற்றவங்க யாரோ சொல்லிட்டோம். So this is done by Prabhakaran. Really appreciating him. He spent a time and did it, but I'm not getting anything from anyone apart from him.
Can we use alphanumeric?
I said a number. Just read out my question. How alphanumeric will work out? I said I want a number out of it. That's it. Alphanumeric means combination of both, right? How to sort out? Any guess? So here is my string. So this is, okay. So this is my string. What he did was he just split it into word, and he iterating it. Okay. So what happened in case if my string is a combination of this? Let's try. I'm getting 1 0 right? So my question is, I said I want a number of digit, right? Number of digits. So you shared me a word which has a number, but this is not what I asked. But anything, this you did a partial answer. It's really good. And what do you have to do? You don't need to say split. That's it.
Without split, we can do that.
Yes, exactly.
It will
Without
take
each and every
each
word.
character. Yeah.
Yes, got it. That's it. That's it. Okay. So even you had an answer, right? So without split, just iterate. And this space is not required by default, because by default we don't need to specify anything. Okay. So the one for the first correction is, you don't need to say empty space. It is default. Okay. So this split has a default. You don't need to give space, and split also not required because we need a digit. I'm not saying it's a word. Okay. Or you can use a digit as well. Is digit. You can also use this. Is digit. Both is available. And the next question is, find a word with both alphabet and number. So here I think you did something tricky. Why you need a while loop and all? You did a split, and you're saying for I said I need a word, so you're supposed to use split. That's right. No issues in that. And you're checking a is less than of x. Why we need that? Any specific reason?
Yeah, I retrieve each character from that Bala 25. If we take Bala 25 means first B will come. So it will check it's a numeric
Okay, okay, okay.
for
So
that I am using oil.
okay, okay. I said I don't know how it works for you because as per naming rule, this will raise a syntax error. Got it? As per naming convention, you all know it will raise syntax error. This line will return syntax error. So L, this is L, right? Not one, right?
L. This
Yeah.
L
Remember,
string.
this is L, not one. Okay. I thought it's one. So if it is one, it will raise an error, obviously. So now, so what are you actually doing while A less than len of x? Okay, that is the word. So if the word contains one, you say yes, it is. So it is true, so it's move on. Now x of A is numeric. If it is true, you are appending the complete word. That's good. Okay. Uh, but what happened if my text doesn't contain means what will happen? See, if it is purely numeric, I got my point. So what you did was again a partial because your checking is numeric means it will works if your word contains integer, but if your word contains only integer, then it is wrong because 10 should not be a part, right? 10 should be a part.
I wrote this program for specifically for that string, not a dynamic.
Okay, okay, yeah, okay. So then it is not a problem solving, right? So you need to make it
Yeah.
dynamic, flexible. Okay, if it should work with any kind of input, that's it, right? So what you have to do, there is a reserved keyword call, say str of one. So I for I in str one if I is alpha numeric, alnumeric. Okay, sorry. Alphanumeric is for both words and special character, not for integer. And we have something else. Is alphanumeric. Is identity. Okay, it's a digit. Yes. I can start out, but you might not understand because it will take another set of program. So by default, it doesn't have the combination of integer and number. So integer and alphabet. So what else we have to do? We have to say alpha I str. So this is the short form of what you did, Prabhakaran. So you did for and while, right? This much of lines.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is the short form for that, and it's not out this. I will use a regular expression. I will tell you later what it is. Okay, will try myself to let you know that since it takes more time. And let's move on to next. So from given string, replace each punctuation with hash. So you all know the punctuation inside means all the special characters. Okay, so all the type of special characters. So you're supposed to replace slash, star, everything into hash switch. That's it. Okay. So we think we have to use not is alpha, it's is identifier, I guess. So we have to use is identifier. So if it is exists and just replace it. Okay. So but replace, you all know replace is not possible in string. You all know that. So replace is not possible in string. So we have to convert it into convert it into list and then try. I for I in str2 will get each and everything. If I is identifier. Not get it. So use like that. If identifier return yes, convert it into hash or hash. That's it. Okay. Got it. And then just say dot join. This is the answer for this. Everything was converted into hash. So the next thing is frame string using above data. That's it. This is what I've used. The join. The join is an attribute. We don't need to say anything. Just say dot join. That's it. This will work with the latest Python, not with the previous one. So it won't be work with Python 2. I think you can able to perform with Python 3 series. Okay. So you all know the star means unpacking, which we have seen in last class, where string formatting we have seen this thing, right? What is star? So star will unpack each and everything, and it will frame a string. I said frame a string, so it is not an answer. It is just a print. Okay, so this is not this won't. This is actually printing content inside a list, not a string, not as a string. It will extract the content out of it, and it will print each and everything as an individual string, not a complete string. So this is an answer. You have to use join. This is what you asked. Okay, join is an answer. So in join, we are actually merging it together with space. So you have to say space, otherwise it will be merged like this. So without space, it will look like this, or without space, it will be look like this. Okay, so you have to keep space. Then it will be look like this. So the next question is split a given string on a hyphen into several substring and display print each substring in a new line. Okay, so now you have to use dot split separator. You don't need to worry about that. Just say this. Okay, separator is default. Str3 dot split. So if you don't give anything, it will take a space. There is a no space in between, so it won't print. So for we have to pass a separator. So then it's print based on a separator. Now I said print in a new line. Okay, just pass into it. Okay, and now inside a print, you need to give a separator. That's it. Separator slash in what he did exactly. Now you have to use star to unpack. Otherwise, it will print a single line. So it will print as a single line. So it will print as a list in a single line. That's it. So what you have to do, you need to unpack it using star. Then it will print. That's it. So good. It's good. and find the last position of substring Shivaram in a given string, and last position of a substring. So this is my part of a string. I supposed to check the complete word in my string, and I need to find the last one. Okay. So what he did a split, and you're saying dot index count. How it will be 8? It won't be 8 because 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 is resides here, so it is not. I said the last position of Shiram, so it will return this one. Okay, so we have to use find or find. Okay, so this is my content. So the solution for is or find. Or find, you have to say Shiram. So the position is 45. This is my 45th position, 45. And if you say just find, it will get 0. Got it? So or find means reverse find from reversal order. Okay, I said the last question, right? So simply you can say use R find. So the solution is R find. Got it, Prabhakar?
Yes, bro.
Yeah. So this is the correct answer to reverse a string using index. Okay, negative index question. So you all know default start, default stop, and -1 as a step. That's cool. And apart from that, you used a while loop and all. That is fine. This also fine. You're appending and you're joining. That's good. Okay. So without using any built-in, what you will do? So here actually you're using append and all, right? So without using that, we have tried. So it is, you tried something. I will try without any built-in. Okay. I'm creating a new string. Okay, we all know string is immutable, so we won't be able to modify, but we can, I said we can append, right? I'm going to say for or character in str5 str1 equal to my character plus str1. That's it. Got an answer? Just as basic logic, simple logic. So you did a while loop and all. Here what I'm doing actually, so I'm taking each and every iteration, that is it will be start from p, right? I'm appending it to str1. Okay, look, just please look on it. So you all know string is immutable, so we won't able to modify, but I'm creating a new string each and every time. I'm reassigning for each and every iteration with a new content. So I'm taking a new character as a first character and followed by my string. So in next time it will be C. Sorry, first time it will be P. Next time Y will be Y will be in a zeroth index. P will move on to next, and next time N and YP, and next time A NYP, and then T NYP, etc. And then you will get the complete reversal string. Have you got it? Any doubts in this? So apart from so if you got a question in interview, do reverse string without using indexing, how will you do? You will start out like this. You can do like this. So you need to define a empty string, do some basic iteration, just append your character, do concatenation of new character with existing str1. Any doubts in it? Have you got it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So next, given two string, create a mixed string. So you need to mix it by based on an index. First time it will be A, X, B, Y, C, Z, and in next question I asked, okay, this is the one. You need to sorry, this is from reversal order, right? So you need to add from a reversal. So what you did, let me explain. one empty list, I is equal to 0, while I is less than, maybe people will not understand what is while and all because we have not seen it. And you are appending, you did a lot of tricky one. Len of A,
I is for index purpose.
yeah, got it.
I'm taking first zero for zero index for A string and B string and append it.
Okay, cool. So how we can simply sort this? You did something like that. Now we will sort the first character S1 A B C, right? And the next one X Y Z. Simple problem needs simple solution. So I'm always used to say just think simply. So don't confuse yourself. But you did a good try. So I appreciate. My current O is like this. See. Now O became. I think you kept it inside a list, right?
Yes,
Okay.
no.
You need to keep it
For,
inside a while loop, right?
for that too, if we have any one string extra letter means it will append with that
Okay. Great.
list. So
So I think O is out of scope now. We don't have anything. Okay. Just
I
forget.
ran this program in online controller,
Okay. Okay. Fine.
Python.
So yeah, we'll try it in online. No problem. Okay. I will sort out. So you all know S1 is A1 and S2 is B. Okay. So what you have to do? So you need to merge based on an index. That's it. That is what we have to do. We need to create a new string. Okay. Just say make it as a C. What you have to do? You need to say for I in or index in len of anything, any either or. Okay. So C is equal to C plus S1 of index plus S2 reversal of S2 with index, the same index. I think this will work. Let's try. Let's try. It is not right. Okay, okay, sorry. I'm saying len of S1 for L. Okay. So what I'm actually doing, I'm using a simple for loop. Will explain what is enumerate. Okay. We all know iterating a string list will give you the content each time, right? Or like so if this is my string, if I iterate for I in, so you think, we have not seen for loop. So okay, we will discuss detail in for when we see talk about for loop. We have not started for loop, right? So we'll discuss this program, but this is the solution. Okay, so we have to use enumerate. We'll discuss what is enumerate and what it is. What is this line going to do? We'll explain this exact program while we're talking about for loop. And the next thing is the same solution for this one, because here we need to add it based on an index. So what you have to do, just remove this, this will be an answer for line the question number 10. That's it, the exact same one, without just remove, because we don't need to reverse the thing, but just pass the same exact index. That's it. And then we'll discuss both in while we're talking about for loop. So here, count all lowercase, uppercase digits and special character from a given string. So you all know that just iterate your string, and if it is total count of character, if it is character, just say that alpha is enough if it is true. And I said we don't need to say true because x dot is alpha going to return true. For if needs true, that's it, right? We don't need to say this, it is not required because this is already true. I said your expression should return boolean, right, Prabhakar? I told you
Yes, bro.
if only understand true, your expression supposed to return true or false, so you don't need to do comparison because this is already true.
Okay.
Okay, if it is something else, then only you have to check with the true. So this is already true, we don't need to discuss, we don't need to compare with the true. Or if it is false, it will be say false, so they need more elif. In case if it is false, because this is already boolean, the return value will be already boolean, so you don't need to check with true. That's it. And if it matches elif, if it is digit this or else this. Exactly. Okay, so this is a solution for all of the program, and we will discuss in detail for program 8 and program 10 once we talk about for loop, and then I will answer about question number 2. Okay, next class. So let's move on to the next topic where we stopped yesterday. So we have complete done with if loop, right? If conditions. So any doubts in it? Any doubts?
No.
No. So we'll talk about one line if condition today. So what is one line if condition? So in last class we have talked about a conditional statement. Now we are going to see how to use if condition in a variable assignment or a one line if condition. So what is the online condition? Okay, just assume you are creating a variable or you are fetching some user input or anything. So if the user input is does not meet your requirement, you need to say something else. Like I'm saying input, you know, input I'm fetching. Or if a user doesn't say anything, it will look like empty, right? If it is empty, you have to return something else. So here you need to create some variable like my input is equal to, okay. So you have to say enter your age. If user doesn't say anything, what happened? This will look like empty. Okay, in that case, what happened? If you preparing some problem, you are actually doing type conversion, this will raise error, right? So to avoid that, we can use one line if condition. If inp, you all know, if it is non-empty, then it will be true, otherwise it is false, right? So then I'm saying inp, if it is exist and it is integer, sorry, this is digit, inp is digit, then it is possible to convert it into integer. So you can perform type conversion inp. Else by default value is 0 because you are going to do mathematical calculation using that. So now my input is 0. If user say something, enter age, it is 20. So if I say inp into 20, I will get an answer. Sorry. Okay, sorry. inp 20, inp is equal to explanation. Now it will be 20 into 20. So 400. Now we'll talk about what this is. What is single line if condition? So probably we'll use a one line if condition in a variable assignment. We'll discuss in detail. Example. So the syntax is, you all know in if condition block, if is mandatory and else is purely optional, but in a variable assignment or a one line if condition, else is mandatory, because if condition satisfy, you need to return something, or if it is not matches, you need to say something else, otherwise what happened? This is incomplete because you don't get any value, right? If condition satisfy, you will return something, but if it is not matches, what else you are going to do? Because here you are assigning something into variable. Got it? To make it easy, so here I written in a single line. I sort out. So otherwise what happened? I need to write a four line condition. That is, you need to write if satisfy, say inp is equal to int of inp. So in this case what happened? Enter something, I don't say anything, but if condition satisfy, I'm doing type conversion, or otherwise my input still looks space. If I multiply, you will get a wrong answer. Got it? Because here you need else, here you need else statement, otherwise you don't get a value for it. So for variable assignment, or you need to do both, either this or this, there you have to use one line if condition. So one line if condition syntax is if else, you need to write both if and else, but for normal traditional conditional statement, else is not required, it's an optional. But here the syntax is, once you write an if condition, else is mandatory, and here we don't use a colon at all, as like this. Okay, we never maintain colon at all. So here I'm saying else inp is equal to 0 by default. So how am I rewriting it? I'm taking the common term, that is imp. So the here my ideally I need to prepare, I need to create a variable with some set of values, right? So here, what is the common between both if? So the only rule is you can convert your if conditional block into one line if condition if it contains a single expression or a possible expression. So you all know this block contains only one expression, that is this, and else also contains the same similar variable with some different value. Okay, so now this is possible. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a common variable outside. So you all know INP is the common variable. I'm going to take it outside, INP equal to, then what I need to do. So variable assignment operator, what you need this, what you need here, what is required in this position. What is required in this position? Seems someone left. Shenik left, I guess. So what is required in this position? Or if you feel any difficult, just please raise your question. Where is?
Moideen, little bit difficult to understand actually.
Okay, so I'm actually converting this conditional block into one line if condition. Okay, I will tell you what is one line. So I said one line condition is probably will use it for a variable assignment. So in variable assignment, if logic satisfied, you have to say something. So if logic satisfied, we need to return something. If it is not satisfied, we need to say something else. Otherwise, what happened? That variable is partially filled and there is a possibilities for an error, right? If condition satisfy, you will return this answer. Otherwise, what happened? If you don't say something, what happened? In your next expression may raise an error. To avoid that, we can rewrite it in a one line if condition, but one line if condition has some certain syntax. So what it is, we need to say if condition or a boolean. So you all know this will obviously return a boolean. Here is the return value. Okay, and we in this single line we should not say colon. Instead, just say else. Here a value again, else value. So
Not
this
expression.
is, yeah, pardon,
Oh, else value or expression?
anything. So the expression anyways the expression is going to return a value, right?
Okay.
That you need to write an expression, it's supposed to return a value, even a boolean also a value. Got it? So it can write anything, but it should return something, that's it, or it should perform something, but it should be a one line. If your conditional block contains more than one expression, then this is not possible. So here my ideal goal is to create a single variable with one value, right? So then this is possible. Now I can convert the 4-line expression into one line. So my common term is I'm ideally I'm going to create one variable, that is INP. So I take it outside a common. I took INP outside. Now so you all know variable assignment operator and what it is by default.
Value.
Right? So here the initial value is this int of INP, right? Now I need to keep this condition. Got it? So now if I keep it as it is, what happened? If condition satisfied, you will return something. But if it is not, your variable doesn't contain value, right? If condition satisfied, you will get this value. Or else what happened? This will look like this. Variable equal to, but there is no value. What happened then?
Syntax error.
Syntax error, obviously. Okay, that's why we need else part. Else, what I need to say?
INP equal to 0.
I took INP outside. It is common for both, right? I took it outside.
0.
Just say 0.
Value.
That's it. Now understand?
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So this is your conditional block. If satisfied, return this, or otherwise return this. That's it. Okay. So this is one line if condition. So any doubts in it? Are you clear? Even you can write, yeah, please.
What is the use of unbet?
One line.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So you have actually reduced my code, right? That's it. So you are actually avoiding unwanted code, unwanted code. That's it. That is an obvious use. So it will be faster than that usually, and it is error free because in this case, in this type, you might there is a possibilities you might miss else statement. Okay, if you make it more syntactically, then here you won't miss else part. Okay, so whenever your variable require this or this, that case, if you're using a traditional conditional block, you might miss else part because else is purely optional. If you missed it, what happened? Your IMP doesn't contain anything, then in your next expression will raise an error. But if you wrote something like that, here you all know this is a mandatory. If you missed it, it will raise syntactical error, so it won't allow you to proceed further. Got it? So your program will be error free in this case in terms of variable assignment, not for conditional execution and all. It is for purely for variable assignment probably.
So one line if syntax is if and variable
Not
and
value, return value, if condition, else value.
okay.
Just assume this. I'm using this part. You should. It is not required. Variable is not required. You can play with the value alone. If you don't specify any variable, this will look like this. Anyway, you're going to return a value. That's it. If you assign it into variable, the else value will be the return value will be stored. That's it. Or otherwise, it will look like this. You can use inside a condition as well. In a condition. Got it? So this will return a value. That's it.
Okay.
So the syntax is value if boolean else value. Value if boolean else value. Got it?
Yes, bro.
Yeah. And so you might have a doubt how to create elif statement inside. Okay. So this is a bit tricky. What you have to do? Else, you all know else again a return value, right? Then again you have to write a condition. If inp equal to empty, then you can say 0, else otherwise say 1. Let's say 1. Or here I can replace if it's empty string written 1 or 0. Got it? Now my input is, if I keep it empty, it will give me 1. If I kept if I say some words, it will return 0. Understand? So if you have more than one condition, you need to expand it by else return value, right? Value again if condition else value again. Just just include if part alone. Repeat this. There is a no elif. There is a no elif syntax in the single line if condition. Just include another if condition. That's it. Understand? So it will be look like for elif value if boolean again repeat this else value. That's it. Just simply copy paste this. Just simply repeat this value again. Understand? Just copy paste and keep expanding. Just copy paste with except value. Just copy paste and keeps expanding. That's it, like this. So for this if condition, this is the return value. Okay. For this condition, this is the return value. And finally for else, this is the return value. Any doubts? Clear? Shall we move on?
I think we do two
We
three
have to,
examples then.
yeah. So for you need to do practice, then only you will get a clear picture.
Right,
Okay,
right.
so give you that exercise if you want. So what you have to do, fetch user input. Okay, get user input, and so first try this. I will give express later. Okay, so get user input. So fetch user input. If user input is ready for type conversion, then do convert it into integer. Okay, or if it is, if user say empty string, so or user doesn't say anything, return one. User gave user gave text instead, just return 0. Okay, just try to replicate like in your machine. That's it. Practice yourself the same logic. And now we'll talk about a for loop, a basic for loop, and we'll discuss it late tomorrow. We'll start from tomorrow. I will show you and what is for loop. Okay, so for, you all know that this is a looping statement. So for is nothing but a looping statement. Okay, so what happened? So this will so for to iterate or to loop an object, the object should obey a property called iterable. Okay, that object should be iterable object, means your object does should not be one single position, that is integer, float, or a single position. You all know integer, float doesn't have any position, it's a fixed position, right? But for string, list, tuple, dictionary, set, etc. are iterables because it contains a more than one position, more than one object are there, more than one items are there, right? So these are iterables. So we can use, apart from integer and float, we can use a list, dictionary, etc. in a for loop. So the syntax is for. Here we have to keep some idioms. You can write anything you want and say in. Here the iterables. The iterable can be anything. Even it can be a string or anything. I have explained what is in going to do. In is a reserved keyword. So if you say double equal is an exact comparison, but what in will do? In will take each and every character out of it from an iterable and it will do comparison, right? So similar logic, but if you're using for, you will get each and everything. So let's say first time you will get C, next time or O, D, etc. Okay. So there is a structural difference when compared with Python for loop with C for loop. In C and all, the syntax is for I equal to sorry, I is equal to 0 or 1, I less than n, and I plus plus, right? So here the iteration, so this is an object and iteration occurred based on an index. Each time you will get index alone, not an item, exact item. So you need to pass I, n of I, then only you will get item. But in Python it is not like that. You will get exact item each time. Like say credo, when I print I, you will get each and every character, each iteration. Okay, so iteration means that iteration means repeatancy up to, so this repeatancy will occur based on your length. So here my character length is 5, so repeatance occurred for 5 times. So repeatancy occurred for 5 times. Got
So
it?
you don't have to give that increment value actually.
We
It
don't.
takes automatic.
Yes,
Okay.
this is the difference between Python iteration and other language iteration. In other language, iteration take place based on index, but here by default will take care of it. We don't need to worry about that. Each time you will get the exact value. So here you don't get index, but instead you will get a value instead. Okay. So in case of list, or using a range. Range, you all know range is a built-in function. Will give you a range of number. I'm printing it. Got it? Now we'll talk about in detail tomorrow. So any doubts in this? So this is a basic for loop. So this is a syntax for loop, and we'll discuss in detail tomorrow what is for loop and what else we can do with it. Okay. So we'll see tomorrow, guys. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.